Simone Fattal, you're an artist, sculptor, and editor. You were born in Lebanon, you studied philosophy, then you moved to California, and then you relocated to Paris, where you live now, and welcomed us today. You founded the Post-Apollo Press in '82 in California for experimental writing, translations, and obviously you're also a sculptor and work with clay, and your sculptures are maybe infused with movement and spontaneity while they have something very archaic to them. So I dare say in your work various time layers overlap and intersect. So Simone Fattal, may I ask you, what does LongueDurée mean to you?
Well, it's good you asked me about my work in relation to LongueDurée, because in my work I really experienced that durée is always with you. There is, to me, I mean, my work reflects this, because it comes from very far. It comes from like 3,000 years BC, and it is transformed into something totally contemporary. So it is, I didn't know that before starting to work with clay, because I was a painter before, and as a painter, these notions did not exist so much. But something in the clay, or it is an accident, brought this to the fore, that it means that, I mean, this ancient history, these ancient forms, this ancient philosophy, myth, came to me in one instant. But it's not really about the old times, it's about today. So, durée, I mean, we only experience durée because we remember so much about something past, and it's as alive today. I want to give the prime model example. If I ask you, how did you meet your great love? You know exactly the time, the day, and the circumstance. And it's therefore it's completely present to you. And I'm sure other experiences in your life. And so it's always with you. The first philosopher who really spoke about this was Bergson. For him, there is time, and there is durée. And time does not exist the way we think the clocks tell us. Even time, you don't know very often what time it is, what day it is. So.
What is your selection? I'm very
All right,
excited.
this is the last book that I have published by a friend of mine, Kathleen Weaver, and she is a great translator. She's a poet. She was actually one of the first poets I have met in California. Her friendship was essential. The minute I met her, she made a fantastic interview with E.A.T, which was published in Poetry Flash, which is a free paper. And this free paper traveled on its own to Germany, and an editor in Germany decided right then to publish E.A.T because that interview was so exceptional. She was, Kathleen, an extremely perfectionist in everything she did. She had the prize for translation. She was also a photographer, and by pure chance, she was the last I published. So I'm going to read this poem. It's called Question. Who were you that first summer and years later? I ask as if I didn't know. What was it you learned from Kojève writing on Hegel, from E.A.T on shamanic dreams? Resistance. That was your element as days excelled in dissolving into experience. A scarlet flag, some snow, a sea. Another night from which to wake and know the taste of dissidence. What happened next I couldn't follow. Your materials became more difficult, involving what is terrible. You ask for trouble. The coin of history, where is it? You had to spend it. The sacrifice, not on the altar, but on the road, became your exemplar. You wounded, but did not kill the animal, which disappeared into the woods. There it is again. What? Eternity. It is sunlight mingled with ocean. You confronted the actual shape of the skull, whose shadow left a green stain on the grass. You see, she cites Rimbaud in these two lines, and I think it's a wonderful way to spell what is duration.
Beautiful.
That's a great definition. That's it.
Thank you.
Want me to read another one? Or?
Sure.
Days. I can't get back to them. They exist with God today. Burning light, projected through small frames. You never wanted a stable substance to be your medium. How many reels of film to make a case steeped in night and concentration? Did you think of me when the train window darkened and Russian birches disappeared? A leafage of questions closed you, restored your spirits like a fast. Then something stopped, unrang a bell, refused the taste of names. Your breath returned to a sky that warred with nothing. Did the interrogator ask you many questions? Did your breath leave you all at once? I ask rhetorically, or should I say I wasn't there? I seem to see a meadow now, a scorch mark on a sleeve, a needle, tiny scissors, a sewing kit for travelers. Smallness of mementos in a room, a Cuban stamp reproducing a famous photo, the red flag raised above the Reichstag in Berlin. People should go back to nature because nature teaches them that time has to be long and that you cannot rush it. You know, we just are used to pushing buttons nowadays and we have everything. But nature does not obey up to buttons. You have to take your time. If you have a garden, it's the first lesson you have. It's wonderful to have a garden. In California, I had a garden. I mean, you need 10 years to start to have a garden. So, I mean, it's my experience. And especially in where I was, in Sausalito, there is a lot of wind. Every afternoon, a very big wind. So that's not very good for the garden. Mm-hmm. And the trees are all like this. Even the pines are just, you know, quite, because at 3 o'clock every afternoon. And the earth was not so good. So it took me a long time, but I did have a garden for a little while. I started with vegetables, because as I was coming from Beirut where there was war, I wanted a garden to have something to eat just in case. So I started with potatoes, but you know, flowers is better. Poor olive tree would be happier somewhere else so it can really blow and grow, but we like it here. It's bent because it doesn't have the space to grow straight up. And I'm sure if it was put in earth, it would just grow in a very, very... It gave me one olive.
And I've seen you still have the flowers.
I
It's
still have
amazing.
your flowers.
Ah, it's amazing.
They have engadinarttalks.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Simone Fattal, for welcoming
you.
us and sharing these moments
Thank you
with
for coming.